So, how do you stay consistent when there is minimal reward and ROI for what you're producing and doing? So, I feel like if I ask this question in a room full of entrepreneurs, pretty much everybody would raise their hand to say, hey, this is a talking point because I completely relate to the statement. And whether you're an entrepreneur or not, I think in general, when you are doing something and working towards something and you don't have that ROI and the feedback and the validation and the reward or the acknowledgement and recognition, it can feel really difficult to keep going because as humans, there is such a confirmation sometimes that comes with external validation, people recognizing what you're doing, people giving you feedback to say, hey, that was really good. I got a lot out of that. Or people saying, hey, you're on the right track. Like, I really enjoyed your product, your service, or the book that you wrote, or the message that you delivered, or the product that you created. And when you don't get that, it can make you question whether or not you're on the right path. If you're not getting if you're not getting a financial compensation or just an encouraging word, it can really make you start to second guess what it is you're going after and doing and whether you're on the right path. So how do you stay consistent in all of that? In all of that producing and doing of the thing you're going after? Number one is never underestimate the power of a small beginning. Sometimes we want to bypass the beginning because it's small, it's painful, it doesn't feel like a big deal. But small beginnings are actually great because it's in that small beginning where you start to hone your skill and you start to grow and develop and become better. I mean, ask yourself this question. Would you rather stumble and trip up along the way in front of a huge audience? Or would you rather do that in front of a small audience while you're building and growing and developing and honing your skill and really determining where you want to go and how you want to deliver? Chances are you'd rather do that in front of as minimal people as possible. So although it's hard in the very beginning when you're not getting that validation and that feedback for what you're pursuing and doing, you're gaining the protection and anonymity and obscurity of starting from a small space while you are going through those beginning phases of starting something out and the struggle that goes along with that. The other way you stay consistent is making what you do about other people, not just you. Because if you make it about you, then you're worried about how you're coming across and how you're perceived and what other people are thinking. And you start to psych yourself out and get in your own head. But if you make what you want to do about serving other people and providing value for other people, you take the pressure off yourself of trying and feeling like you have to look perfect. The other thing you can do is eliminate the story in your mind that you're the only one with a slow journey. Because oftentimes when we are walking something out and we're not getting that external validation, we can feel like, gosh, I'm looking around and all these other people that are in my space, in my field, seem to be killing it. And they were a viral success. You know, they got all this success within the first 3 months, 6 months, year of their business or their organization creation. And then we look at our own journey and we feel frustrated, like, why is this taking me so long? But the truth is, for every viral story you hear about, there are hundreds, if not thousands of people who have stories just like yours, where it was a slow beginning and it took a long time to get clients and it was a slow build and a slow grow. It took a long time to get the word out there about your product or your service and get customers willing to purchase and know, like, and trust you. And all those things that we need for a business to grow and develop. Getting the story out of your head that it's just you that this is happening to. And oftentimes we know this logically in our head, but the journey from the head to the heart is a long journey. But if we can accept the fact that a long journey doesn't necessarily mean a bad journey, then you can learn to enjoy the process along the way. The other thing that I would mention is get inspiration daily. Zig Ziglar, many of you may have already heard the quote, but he said, inspiration is like a bath. You need it daily. And that is so completely true. And so some of the ways you can get inspiration are just listening to educational podcasts, watching YouTube videos of people that inspire you versus make you feel comparison, taking control of what you can control versus sometimes you get stressed out about the how of how you're going to make it happen versus really honing in on what is the small incremental steps that I can do consistently to start to make progress versus figuring out all of the solutions to all of these problems that I see and how am I going to make 6 figures and 7 figures and how am I going to all of these things that we build up in our mind that we try to figure out when we're not even there yet. We're not even close to that problem or close to that stage of the business. We just need to figure out, how do I get consistent in the day-to-day? What's the thing that I can do in this day that allows me to work towards my goal? The other thing you can do is surround yourself with goal getters and visionaries, other people who are stepping out and taking risks and doing new things. You can't share your seed of a dream with necessarily everybody, because some people are seed killers. Some people are, they are not the ones that are going to be the most encouraging to you. And it's not that you are being closed off to constructive criticism, but sometimes when your dream or your goal is in seed form, you have to protect it. You have to be so careful with it, because it can easily just slip through your fingers, because the cares of the world, the conversations with the wrong people that are asking you questions that you don't necessarily have the answer to, or they're just negative, can rob you of what you really meant to go after. So it's important to protect those seeds. The last thing I would say is keep the bigger picture in your mind. And by bigger picture, I mean your why and the reason why you are motivated to step out and do a new thing. You may not have the full picture of where you want to be in 5 years, 3 years, 10 years. But if you can keep the bigger picture of, I want financial freedom, or I want more time with my children, so I'm working on this business that's going to allow more flexibility in my schedule. I want to be doing something that I am truly skilled at and passionate in and about. If you can keep that bigger picture in your mind and remember your why, it can help you in that day-to-day consistency that you need to walk that incremental walk, step by step, building brick by brick, to build the foundation of what you really want.